from this point. Okay, so we're drawing the tortoise and the hare. There's the shell. All right, leave it at that. All right, and your shell can look different from mine. The shell is also going to have this front part, right? That's going under. So it will probably look something like that. Now the feet, I gave myself circle down, big old foot right here. That's all I gave myself. Circle, foot. And the other one, circle, foot. Here's a very common mistake. I don't think any of you would make this because we don't have the young kids here today. But look at the feet placement, right? This one is above this one. It's behind. It's like it's like a square on the floor. I want to think about how that, like, really this guy fits into a box. But I want to think about him like that. His feet placement like a square at the angle I'm seeing. Okay. The back leg, circle, and I'm going to bend it like this a little bit. And then here's like it's almost like, I don't know if he's like going to get ready to race. He's kind of bending it over a little bit, the feet. Okay, let's stop right there. So if you guys have your, and turtles have a little tail on the back. But again, this is going to be a little bit weird for me. Like the way I lined up the rabbit, he should probably be a little bit further back. I don't want him to interfere too much. Like when I sketch this out, I wanted him to either overlap or be separate, but I don't want it that close. This is a problem. If I were to draw them right next to each other, those are called tangents. Oh, we have Kurt Ollie that just joined us too. So we're drawing the tortoise and the hare. All right. So before I start working any more on this tortoise, I'm going to map out the hare further. Okay. So for the hare's body, there's his head. And remember, I decided to move it on a little bit back. So there's his neck. I'm going to think about this line of action. So there's the bean body. There's his bean body. There's the back foot. Following the line of action. I want him to look like he's like got the foot back, ready to race. The front foot is going to be up, down. His big old rabbit feet. We haven't gotten there yet. And then we're going to do his arms. We're building basically like a pose. And I do have a pose reference that I looked at. Like, what does a racer look like when they're about to start racing? And I'm kind of picturing this. Like, the arms are like this, and he's stepping back and he's building up the energy. I think in the gesture one, I talked about the pose like a boxer. So he's building up the energy, and there's his ear. We're going to have one ear, and then the other ear. All right. That's all I need for my two characters. Now that they're mapped out, I'm okay with where they're positioned. Now I can do my second pass. All right. And my second pass is where I'm going to add the details. So I'm going to start with the turtle's face. And the turtle's face, I do have some reference. And there's many ways we can do this. I'm going to give him kind of like a square face like this. I'm giving him a beak. And I'm giving him an eyeball. And I want him kind of looking back. That's my turtle's face. Real simple. Beak, nose, smile. And you know what? I'm going to open his smile like this. That's it. That's my turtle. Kept it real simple. I added a beak, and I brought out a jaw, and I added an eyeball right there. I kept that pretty simple. Right? All right. And I gave him a long neck. So far, that's looking good. The shell, let me see the shell thing. The shell, you could add details at the end if you want with the shell, these little divisions here like this. And then I think I don't know if the squares get bigger towards the bottom. Let me see. It would probably I would probably break it down like this and then end up with one on top and then try to do some smaller breakdowns in between. That's how I kind of gave myself a guide. Let's see, is that what a turtle shell is like? I don't know if it's even more abstract than that. Again, I mean, I'm making this up, but we could go look at reference. I don't know why my OBS camera's not working today. The one that shows my face, so I'm sorry about that, guys. All right, but now the feet. Oh, you know what I didn't do too? They're racing, right? I forgot to give them a head bandana. So like if the turtle is racing, can I give him like a little fluffy bandana on his head? And maybe like fluffy bandanas on his feet? Maybe I was gonna do that. So here's his feet. There's a one foot. Here's the other foot. And turtles have these claws. So here's the front of the foot. Here's the front of the foot. I'm gonna do one claw, to one other claw here in the middle, and another claw here on the side. So one claw, another one in the middle, and another one here on the side. That's three claws. And back claws, same thing. I don't even know what we call these claws. And then the back thing, same thing. Finding the middle, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Almost like they're overlapping. So I did my gumdrop, foot, I found the middle, I did one claw, and another claw, overlapping. That's how I did the turtle foot. So I've got that turtle worked out, and the back foot coming out, bending around, and then the other one back there. All right. Okay. So far, so good. And remember, you guys can make this your own. So if your turtle looks different or you want to do a different kind of contrast character, that's fine. I'm going to build the rabbit now. So my rabbit, I gave his head here. And before I build his eyes and stuff, I want to kind of pull out his cheeks. So this is how I'm doing that. I built his head. There's his head with a sphere. And I did this to find out where his eyes are. And I'm doing this to kind of pull out a cheek for him. Right? And we can do this many different ways. Do you want your rabbit to have a tall head and cheeks like this, like Bugs Bunny? Do you want him to have a short, fat head? Is he a short, fat rabbit? Like, there's so many different ways we can play with these shapes. There's endless variations of this. And that's why you guys don't have to draw like I draw. You can draw it however you would. So I'm going to do one eye here. Let me sharpen the pencil. Hold on. My sharpener assistant. I was doing watercolors, but I have to put the blow dryer in. You guys ever want to do a watercolor thing? Busted out the old watercolors this past week, and I did this dragon. You guys ever wanted me to show you how to use the watercolors? You could do that too. And of course, my blue pencil broke. Hold on, let me get another blue pencil. I'm a mess. Let me get my other blue pencil. All right. Okay. All right. Rabbit. One eyeball. And I want him to look kind of cocky, right? So he's going to be like a little bit smug. He's looking over there like, huh, this guy's got no shot. All right. One eyebrow up, the other one down. And his nose, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a circle here to tell me where his kind of little rabbit snout's going to be. Here's a triangle for his nose. Here's the center division of that snout. And now I'm going to give him his little rabbit teeth right there. I kind of want him to look a little bit smug. I know that's coming off there. All right. Looking good. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a hair up here. All right. So the rabbit ears, I'm going to do one facing out. And one facing back. Oli and everybody else, are you guys doing good? Am I going too fast? You guys doing good with your drawing? Everyone's feeling good? Right. All right. Now remember, these two guys are going to race. So, no, let me not get there yet. Let's do this arm first. So I'm going to have one arm with my cylinder coming down, the other arm going up. Perfect. This arm's going back, shoulder, back, down. It probably helps when you guys have this visual in front of you. I don't know why that OBS camera didn't work. I want to spend time trying to fix it. So we have one arm here in the front. It's kind of bend back like this. He's kind of like opposite. So here's, let me see, how are we going to do this? Palm, thumb, fingers, right? So he's going to have palm, thumb, and then fingers like this. He's like that, ready to go. And he has paws, so not really fingers. One like that, and the other one in the opposite direction. All right, what I was going to say is I want to give him a running shirt, like a running tank top, like one of those basketball shirts. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to put a number on his chest. Like when you run a marathon or a race, I'm going to give him a number pinned to his chest. And I guess Tortoise can have one too. Let's have his hanging out here in front of his shell. And he's going to be number 1. And it's hanging out there on his shell. And this guy's number 2. All right. Let's finish this off. So we're going to have, he's got his shorts coming back. One short, the other one here, coming forward. All right, and the rabbit leg is going to be a long rabbit leg. There's one, and the other one. The other rabbit leg, I'm going to have it like this. Like the leg is ready to like, it's on the front ball of the foot. So it's doing this. There's the leg, it bends back in space and then comes down, and then it has its toes here. 1, 2, 3. So it's really, the heel is back here and the front is down there. That's how I drew his back leg. Heel up here, the front ball, because he's on the ball of his front, the back leg. He's ready to run. And this little, I'm going to put the tail down, so I don't know what. These came a little bit closer than I would have liked, but I went. That's all right. And now we can add some more little details. What other details can we add for this race before we start inking? We're about to start inking these guys. You're gonna have the race line here in the front. Mark, get set, go. I should do a cool painting of this. I would love to paint this one day. My favorite artist did this. Tortoise and the Hare. Okay, so now, if you've made it this far with me, I'm going to grab the old ink pens, my micron pens, and I'm going to start inking. Okay? So today we thought about, we drew two characters. I showed you guys how I would approach this gesture at the beginning, how quickly I drew it, where we mapped these things out. That's kind of important, especially for you guys that have been already here for a while. Because I know you see me draw it really slow when we're constructing here in the class, but normally I do a thumbnail, and many times I even just blow up this thumbnail and work off of the thumbnail because that pretty much captures everything I need. Here we go. I'm still recovering from that cold from last week. Man, I've been sick for 1 week. It's crazy. Now is the fun part. And inking, when we ink, we're not just like blindly doing this. I mean, inking is still a chance to make corrections, to refine the drawing. So we don't just have to like go over the lines that we see blindly. If I was doing this for as a serious illustration, I would probably go look at a bunch of turtle shells. Get some reference on that. Like this little string here holding the number down. Got his little exercise bands on both feet. Why not? In case he starts sweating. I looked over at my favorite artist. I saw the sculpture I had on my desk today, and I said, okay, let's just do the tortoise and the hare. I was like, should we do the hare sitting on top of the tortoise, encouraging him with a rat, like some lettuce, like a twist to it? My son said, make the rabbit fat, and the turtle like he's strong and muscular, like opposites of what you would expect. But this is more of a classic take on it, right? In the end, these are just for fun. Like we could draw these again tomorrow and do a different variation. This rabbit does not look nice. He does not look nice. That's kind of what I was going for, though. He looks like he's definitely going to lose. All right. Today I painted an elephant. And even when I was like halfway through my painting, I'm still making corrections on the construction, thinking about the painting as like spheres and basic shapes and thinking, does this make sense? It really, like, structure is so important, especially if you're going to draw from imagination and make stuff up. Because, like, if you draw from reference and you're just trying to straight up copy the reference, I guess you're just trying to make it look exactly like a picture. But to be able to draw like this from your imagination, you have to really understand structure and form so you can play with things and change them in your mind. Very important. Important. Oh, you know what? I forgot his little fluffy tail, the bunny rabbit's tail. Tortoise and the hare. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase my uh, pencils and see about my inking. See if there's areas where I can have a thicker line, you know, the areas under where things meet on the bottom of them, I could have a thicker line there. Let's see here. I also wanted to do a cast shadow underneath these guys. Tortoise and the hare. All right, the inking part we said. Bunny rabbits and whiskers. Be brave like Maritzi with the inking. Okay, I think I'm gonna pause it there. You know what I'm gonna do too is to get a little bit of line variety here. I use a small micron pen sometimes, 0.5. Do some good old fashioned hatching, if you guys have heard of that term. Good old hatching and cross hatching. If you're gonna do some hatching on your ink work, something you kind of want to keep in mind is try to follow the form. So if I'm gonna hatch here, like I'm trying to go around. This is why the shape stuff and the construction is so important. I'm gonna try to ink this thing and not just like randomly put lines. I'm going to try to follow the form. It will make your inking that much better. Very important. Follow the form with the inking. I'm going to put some hatching lines here. Kind of want those hatches to go around his neck. Oh wait, the bunny rabbit too. That's what I'm missing. The bunnies have this. Something is missing here with the bunny. No, that's good enough. All right, I'm gonna pause it right there. That's my bunny rabbit and the tortoise. Sorry we didn't have the reference on the screen. I'm gonna change my cameras. Do you guys want to kind of show where you're at? Wait. Or you guys want to do some more inking? If you want, you can keep on going. Keep on keeping on. I'll start
I could
coloring
show
mine.
mine. I could show
Keep
mine, but
on
I'm
keeping
not.
on. I know, Maritzi, we've talked about this before, but when I did this, the first thing I do is tone the paper. Like I tone the whole thing with a peach watercolor. So I can do the same thing with my markers or with my color pencils. The first thing I'm going to do is color the entire thing peach very lightly. It prepares the surface, it gives it one unifying color. I would say that young artists, one of the biggest coloring mistakes you guys make is you color everything whatever color it is. Like, okay, the turtle's green, let me just bust out green and color it green. Nah, that's a something that will instantly make your coloring better is if we say, okay, the turtle's green, but that green could have some peach in there. I could put the green in here, get my light green, and then I can get my dark green. I'm putting my light green over my peach color. And I'm gonna come here and get my dark green and add some shadows here under the mouth. And then I'm gonna come out and grab that peach again. Look, I'm using the peach to blend the green, the dark green, and the light green, and that doesn't look bad. And I'm coloring the turtle with a peach. What is that? You're crazy. That's a little thing that will instantly improve your coloring. Instantly. Let's do this real quick. Mouth, the tongue. Take my peach in there. Mix the peach. That's basically how I color this stuff like that. I'll mix a ton of different colors into it. So if I'm gonna do the shell and the shell is brown, okay, I'm gonna take out my brown color pencil. I'm gonna start layering that in there, my like a medium color. Here's my medium color brown, but I'm gonna get my dark brown. I'm gonna start working in my dark brown, maybe in the cracks. And then I'm gonna get my peach out again. I'm gonna use my peach maybe in the highlight areas and to mix some of those two colors. But the peach is the color that brings everything together. Pro tip. Try it out.